Hi, I'm Devora, and I begin with an apology because if you are watching this pre-recorded video, it means that I'm in the middle of an appointment that I could not get out of, and I apologize to Rav Weitzman and to Gabrielle that I was unable to be with you in person and hear your words of wisdom, and I look forward to catching up on them later. When you're in it, you're in it. What support, if any, can we give? This is so multifaceted. There is stigma and pain and relief and grief. It is deeply personal, it can be scary, and it can be daunting. When you're in it, you're in it. Your brain shifts gears as you brace yourself for the worst and hope for something better. You may forget to eat or attend appointments or smile, or you may invest your every waking moment in busying yourself so that you don't have to feel or you don't have to think about what's going on in your own personal life. There is no gift of hindsight handed to you wrapped up neatly. There's no manual telling you how to feel or navigate these waters. We fall back on coping mechanisms that served us in the past, which may or may not be helpful in the present. When I was in it, were there words of wisdom that helped? Not really. When people sent well-meaning text messages, did I throw my phone across the room, not wishing my reality to be real? Perhaps. Can I guarantee that what helped me can help you? No. But I will share nonetheless in the chance that it may help someone help someone. Would I have been worse off if I hadn't received any messages or meals? Absolutely. So let's begin with that. For those in your inner circle, if someone comes to you and tells you from your community or family or friends that they have experienced or are experiencing a pregnancy loss, or that they are undergoing fertility treatments, my first bit of advice would be to mirror them. What do I mean by that? If someone comes to you and they say, I'm so distraught, I'm so upset, I don't even know what to do with myself. Every day I'm going through this. Every day I'm doing ovulation checking. And I've gone for this appointment and that appointment. And I can't go to that because it's on Shabbat. And I can't do that because it's in the middle of a meeting. And my life is falling apart and I'm not coping. You can take a breath. You can look at them and you can say, I am so sorry for what you're going through. Thank you so much for letting me in. I'm here for you. What can I do to help? But someone else may come to you. You may be standing around at Kiddush having a l'chaim. How are you? Great, thanks. How are you? Well, my wife just had her third miscarriage. We've been going through this for years. I just don't know if we're ever going to have a baby. Anyway, how are you? If you turn to them and go, oh, you must be devastated. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, how are you coping? How are you making it through every day? That's not going to be helpful to them. That's not how they've come to you. They haven't chosen to share those feelings with you if they're experiencing them in that moment. Instead, you can turn to them and go, mate, that's a lot. I'm really sorry you guys are going through that. What can I do to help? Or do you guys have supports around you? The next thing I would say is that the support you offer should be practical. Can I take your kids out for the day? Who can I pick up from school? Can I arrange some shopping for you? Don't offer it if you don't mean it, because some people will take you up on it. The next thing is to check in with them. You may check in, how you doing? You might get, I'm doing great, thanks. You might check in and you might not get an answer. You might check in the following week and get nothing. But I can tell you that that person who is struggling will appreciate that text message, even if they don't reply, even if it makes them want to throw the phone across the room. Don't disappear. The next thing I would say is don't ask you can ask what they need, but also offer it. Be practical. The greatest bit of chesed that anyone did for me was when I told a friend that we were going to be experiencing this pregnancy loss. I got a text message from her saying dinner's at the door. She didn't ask me if Thursday worked for me. She didn't ask if I wanted besari or chalavi. She didn't ask me to come to the door. She didn't knock. She didn't expect anything from me. She just left it at the door. And I may have sat there eating it with tears rolling down my face, but until today it was the greatest act of chesed because she just did it for me. I couldn't have thought to ask and I couldn't have thought to accept it either. The next thing I would say is if you find that you're curious to know what's really going on for somebody, It's actually none of your business. So if you find that you're getting curious and that it's no longer about the person going through something, but about your curiosity, stop yourself. Doesn't really matter how many times they've tried. It doesn't really matter how difficult it may have been or how far along or if they were showing or who else they've told. These things don't matter unless the person who's experiencing it wants to share it with you. If someone's struggling and they're not checking in as much with you and what's going on in your life, maybe you've just had a baby or graduated and they're not checking in, give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that maybe they're going through something and now's not the time. Turn to others for your support if that person is not able to give it to you. This is something that is going to make you feel so liberated. Forget the fix-it mentality. Take your toolbox with all your little strategies that have worked for you and worked in the past and worked for other people and throw them away. Because the greatest gift that you can give to somebody, in my opinion, is the ability to be okay with seeing them not okay, to seeing them however they are, to hold space for them to just be it happy or angry with you, or sad or mad. If they're grieving with many words, or if they're grieving with very little words, just give them the space. Take away your solutions focus and you actually take so much pressure off yourself. You don't need to have the answers. You just need to be there with them in that space. And if you can't be that because you've got other stuff going on in your life, that's okay too. Widen their support network. Help your friend find further support. There are hotlines you can call. There are online support groups, and there are organizations that can help. What may be helpful to say? I'm sorry for your loss. I'm here for you however I can be. Let me know when you're up for a walk. We can walk or talk, or just walk. Dinner's at your door, thinking of you. How are you doing? And then pause and really ask that question with intention. You can say, I'm davening for you. I know you have the strength to get through this. What is less helpful to say? Now, this list can go on forever. And I'm sure everybody is just smiling at the back of their minds going, been there, done that. I know what not to say because it's been said to me. Don't say to someone, you're young. You've got lots of baby-making years in you. Don't say you've got other kids, aren't you lucky? Look on the bright side. It could have been X, Y, and Z. It was early. It wasn't even a baby yet. You must be devastated or so relieved or so sad. Don't impose what you think they should be feeling. It could be just the opposite. Create the space for them to talk if they wish. And don't say Hashem has a plan. Yes, Hashem does have a plan. We know that. But it's not our place or your place to announce it. When you're in it, you're in it. What support, if any, can we give? I shared some ideas for those who have a friend or community member or family member experiencing something, but what support can we give to ourselves? And I'll end with this, with just a couple short minutes. For those who are in it, this may or may not help you, but it's something that I tell myself whenever I'm facing something really difficult. Take control wherever you can. What do I mean by this? Plan your day around appointments. Can you anticipate how you may feel leading up to the appointments and following them? If you know that you get really anxious before appointments, think of things that you can do that day to create the space for you to feel that anxiety or to lower your anxiety. If you know that you always feel sad or excited or apprehensive or disappointed or angry, carve out time to feel those feelings and to express them. Find a way to utilize the energy of those feelings. Know what your happy triggers are. Call a friend. Have a favorite hand cream in your bag ready to go, or a chocolate, or go and buy yourself lunch, go for a swim, put on some music. Know your happy triggers and know your anxious triggers and create the space on those days to just feel them. Take control of your mental well-being. Seek out support groups. There are Facebook groups, in-person, one-on-one therapy. Knowing that this may be a tumultuous journey, preempt that. Take control and say, I want to be supported through this because I may need it. Take control with advocacy. If you don't feel like you're being seen as a whole person, ask to be seen. Turn to that doctor or the nurse and say to them, this is really difficult for me. Connect to them on a human level and remind them that you are a human and a whole being and not just a physical being. If you're overwhelmed by the language barrier, take a support person or ask the hospital for one. Connect with the right people. Find yourself a listening buddy. What is a listening buddy? A listening buddy is someone you can call up and say, all right, I don't want support. I don't want ideas. I don't want solutions. I just need a vent. And then just have your vent. And then hang up the phone and know that you've had your space. The challenge that you're going through is one that is for both you and your spouse. And by acknowledging your different experiences and responses, it is a lot healthier, and combining your strengths and resiliences too. When Rob and I were going through something, we had very different initial reactions to our loss. I was feeling intense grief, and he was feeling such relief to not have to have a baby that would pass away shortly after coming into this world. We had to acknowledge that we were coming from different places, and that's okay. Grief is personal. Let some people in, and trust their word if they think that you're struggling more than you think you are. And lastly, don't play it down. 1 in 4 pregnancies will end prematurely, and 1 in 8 couples will experience infertility. Those are pretty high statistics, but each lived experience is individual. We bring our own history and resilience and strength to it. I'm happy to continue the conversation. If anyone wants to touch base with me, please feel free to. I just want to really thank Penina and Darche Tzion for providing the opportunity to discuss and support such a deeply personal and important topic. Penina, you are a leader, you are a role model, and I thank you so very much for what you do.